Ashley, I wanted to ask you, because you worked on the Biden campaign. I mean, what is his style of humor? How would you describe Joe Biden comedy?
Well, he's great in one-on-one setting.
This isn't one-on-one.
3,000 to 1. I was kind of burying the lead. I think he should take tonight and let all the air out of the balloon and be self-deprecating.
Yeah.
And just, where are my notes? All the things that people make fun of him about. But I don't think delivering jokes is the strongest thing Joe Biden can do.
I'm really excited to be here tonight with the only group of Americans with a lower approval rating than I have. But I'm not worried about the midterms. I'm not worried about them. We may end up with more partisan gridlock, but I'm confident we can work it out during my remaining 6 years in the presidency. And folks, I'm not really here to roast the GOP. That's not my style. Besides, there's nothing I can say about the GOP that Kevin McCarthy hasn't already put on tape. You know, at the same time, a lot of people say the Republican Party is too extreme, too divisive, too controlled by one person. They say that's not your father's Republican Party. Ronald Reagan said, "Mr. Gorbachev, tear this wall down." Today's Republicans say, "Tear down Mickey Mouse's house." And pretty soon they'll be storming Cinderella's castle, you can be sure of it. But Republicans seem to support one fella, some guy named Brandon. He's having a really good year, and I'm kind of happy for him.
All right, guys, so that is Joe Biden telling jokes at the White House Correspondents Dinner. You know, the annual event where politicians, celebrities, journalists all get together and schmooze and show America that they are the elite and everybody else is just peasants. Okay, yeah, that event. Joe Biden is there making jokes. Now, I'm not gonna lie, some of the jokes was kind of funny, okay? Especially that joke about Brandon, right? That was actually a pretty funny joke, okay? Biden's joke writers did a decent job on that, okay? I'm not gonna roast Biden for literally everything, even though I do think it is cringe. Some of the stuff was actually kind of funny. But there's been a whole lot of kind of controversy around the White House Correspondents Dinner, as some people don't think it should be held at all, right? And Joe Biden here at this event, he was seen laughing at a joke that seemed to come at the expense of the American people. Take a look.
You know, I think ever since you've come into office, things are really looking up. You know, gas is up, rent is up, food is up, everything. No, it really has been a tough first year for you, Mr. President. And
yeah, guys, so that is Trevor Noah making a joke about how the American people are suffering, right? We're talking about inflation, gas prices, food prices, everything is going up, okay, under Joe Biden, right? And Joe Biden's laughing, right? Laughing hysterically at the pain and suffering of the American people. Now, some people might say, well, it's just a joke. You know, he can laugh, blah, blah, blah. It's whatever. But again, I do find it cringe and awkward and a little bit tone deaf how you have this room full of elitists, okay, including politicians, right, who make these policies, who are responsible for a lot of this stuff happening, laughing at the expense of the American people when they're largely not affected all that much by inflation. In fact, a lot of those celebrities, politicians, and journalists actually benefit from inflation, okay, because they probably own a whole lot of assets like real estate that have seen an increase in prices during this inflationary period, right? They're not being affected by nearly as much as American people, and it's not something that I personally, if I was president of the United States, I would not have laughed at. Now, you know, all the other jokes about the GOP and about, you know, myself or whatever, yeah, I would have laughed at those jokes. But that joke right there, I would have been like, nah, I would not have got caught laughing on camera at that joke. A whole lot of people didn't like that, okay? That can rub people the wrong way because real people are suffering, okay, while, again, you guys are smoozing with elitists, right? Celebrities and journalists, which I think is a problem. I really don't like that, okay? I really don't like the White House Correspondents Dinner for that reason. I don't think that politicians should be schmoozing with celebrities and journalists. I don't think they should be that close, right? Our politicians ideally should be in opposition to celebrities and journalists, okay, in the media. They should be in opposition. They should not be one and the same and on the same team. That's not good, right? That's not good. And people criticize Trump for not showing up to the White House Correspondents Dinner. They claim that he wouldn't do it because he can't take a joke, which, you know, hey, I mean, I don't know. That may or may not be true, even though it seems like Trump jokes all the time, right? He tells jokes all the time. But I like the fact that Trump never showed up because I don't think that, again, the president of the United States should be smoozing with celebrities and journalists. I don't think that he should, right? I don't think it's a good look, right? And I'm not the only person that thinks that the White House Correspondents Dinner may be a bad idea. There was a few panelists doing CNN's coverage of the White House Correspondents Dinner that also thought that this probably was not a great idea, but for a different reason. Because some of these panelists were actually calling the White House Correspondents Dinner a Superspreader event. Take a look.
All right. I mean, let's talk about, Chris, we'll start with you. Let's talk about this night. It is, I don't know, there's so many audiences. It's supposed to be kind of fun. There's also a lot at stake, and it comes at an interesting time in this presidency.
It comes at a really hard time, I think, in this presidency for Joe Biden. I mean, I know, like, he's going to tell jokes. They have professional joke writers. He's going to have some jokes there. But the truth of the matter is that Joe Biden is not in a great spot politically as he comes into this. It's also kind of hard to be funny when you have the war in Ukraine ongoing. You have most people in that room probably thinking, is this a super spreader? You know, should I be in this room right now? I know Chris Cillizza, hypochondriac, would definitely be thinking that. So it's a weird vibe in the room, I would guess, for him. Plus, they haven't done it in a couple years. And it's a weird time for him as well, in that he isn't, you know, in the 50s in terms of approval. He's in the low 40s. Everything looks like his party is going to get walloped in this coming election. Now, I know that's not top of his mind tonight, but you're never not the president. You know, you don't get to sort of turn that off and have fun this night. So it's an odd time, I think, to do it.
Yeah, and there were questions about whether or not he was actually going to go. There was a dinner a couple of weeks ago. The Gridiron Dinner ended up being a bit of a super spreader event. Before this event, we had the Vice President, Kamala Harris, test positive for COVID. So lots of concerns about whether or not he should go. It sounds like they're taking precautions around him. He's not going to have dinner in the way that everybody else will have dinner there. But certainly, I mean, we talk about this possibly being a super spreader event. The problem is that this isn't just the only event that's happening, right? There have been events in Washington really since about Wednesday or Thursday of this week, and they'll be going until Sunday. So certainly people taking precautions. Some people deciding not to go because COVID is still with us.
Yeah, so you gotta love it, guys, how the mainstream liberal media refuse to criticize the Democrats for their own super spreader events, despite the fact that Democrats were like openly having their own parties and not wearing masks, not following any of the rules that they want everybody else to follow when it comes to the pandemic and the virus. The mainstream liberal media said nothing. They said nothing at all, okay? They criticized everything that the GOP did as a super spreader event. And then lo and behold, when the Democrats are trying to brush away the pandemic, make everybody forget that COVID is still actually a thing, now all of a sudden the media has come out and started criticizing the Democrats for having super spreader events, right? Don't you just love how that works, right? As the Democrats are trying to, again, shush away the pandemic, the media all of a sudden is now like, hold on now. You guys are having super spreader events. You guys are all gathering in one place, so close to each other, after talking all that trash and that smack to Republicans for basically doing the same thing last year. And it seems to me that the tipping point that has sparked the mainstream media to do this is the fact that all the major figures in the Democrat Party have gotten COVID, okay? You remember how they was telling us about how the GOP is so dangerous? We don't hear all that much about the GOP and members of GOP getting COVID all that much, even though I'm pretty sure a lot of them are. I mean, basically everybody's getting it. But yeah, you got Kamala that got it. Pelosi got it. Jen Psaki done had it like 3 or 4 times, right? The only major figure that allegedly hasn't had it yet is Joe Biden, right? Which, I mean, with the way things are going, at the pace things are going, it can be any day now where there's an announcement that is made, okay? But like I said, man, I'm not necessarily really even for criticizing these events, the super spreader events, because I want to see things go back to normal personally. So I don't blame the Democrats for doing what they're doing, even though they're only doing it for political reasons. I just think it's funny that the mainstream media all of a sudden is now criticizing the Democrats, saying that, hey, you guys are having super spreader events when they should have been doing that all last year, okay? So it's a little bit too late, right? A little bit too little, too late for the mainstream media on this. But with that being said, yeah, I don't think that the White House Correspondents Dinner is a good idea. I think it's very uncomfortable as an average, everyday American citizen to see our politicians at these fancy dinners smoozing with celebrities and journalists, getting very close to the media. It's almost like there's one big club and average, everyday Americans ain't in it, right? That's kind of what it feels like. So with that being said, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.